has really serious abuse against other Latin Americans. Mexico has never been free. And I said, and there was a big meeting with the teacher and him, and they were asking, how does he know this? It was very frightening. I'd read a few history books. But this is the indoctrination, because they don't want Hispanics assimilating and getting into guns and private property and freedom, because it fits perfectly with what they want. They already hate the fact that Hispanics on average are very family-oriented. I've seen the statistics. Hispanics on average will run from the CPS. They'll fight back. So CPS doesn't hunt them as much like they do blacks and whites, who are subservient on average. So they really need to brand all Hispanic culture, not even the Mexican culture, but to the corrupt ruling class culture. These Tejano singers, these Mexican rap singers, it's all how cool the gangs are, how cool the murder is, just like what they sell the blacks to get them into that culture, and the whites. And they build it up, and they're heroes in Robert Rodriguez's film. And then this is what's offered as the culture. And so all Hispanics are told, you will adopt a La Reconquista. And that's what Robert Rodriguez imported to all Spanish-speaking countries in this hemisphere, was machetes and the word "the revolution has begun" in Spanish, and we showed that on air. And it was billed and sold in Spanish. It's time for the gringo to get it. Now we're taking them down. And, of course, in all of Latin America, the machete, because they're disarmed as slaves, is the sign of peasant uprising. Don't rebel against the corrupt Latin American CIA-run governments. Rebel against the stupid gringo. Of course, they don't even say that. In the movie, gringos line up Hispanic women and shoot them in the stomach. Get the gringo. Get them. Get them. Get them. And I'm supposed to go, oh, what a wonderful psyop. Oh, now we can break off pieces of the southern states and then be Mexican enclaves. Exactly what the globalists want, because they just want us all poor, fighting with each other, and then being enslaved to them financially, being controlled. And then the white people and Hispanic black middle class, folks that are scared with the riots and the control that's coming, will beg for the police state and the system to protect them, and the globalists will come in and then rout the Mexican uprising. Now, I told you there'd be moves to break off parts of southern states, southwestern states. Now in the news today. You have been warned. And, it's really genius, because we're all tribal at a base level. We all tend to be racially, conscious, just because the studies show black people, on average, end up preferring black folks because it's what their mommy and their daddy look like. It's what they're used to. White people, Hispanics. I mean, if I see a Hispanic guy with a Hispanic woman, I don't go, you're a racist. You're with a Hispanic. I mean, that's on average, that's what people are attracted to. You know, it is pure mind control that's going on. So they don't want people assimilating, getting along. They want to break this country up. And I can't even watch UFC fights, because every fighter who's Latino from the U.S. has to dance around with a Mexican flag and, make comments against the U.S. and have La Reconquista tattoos on them. And, you turn on Comedy Central and the Hispanic comedians are bad-mouthing white people. I mean, I'm tired of it. See, I want you to have a Second Amendment. I want you to have private property rights. I want you to have dignity and not be a slave. And what the big corporations have programmed Hispanics to do, they're trying to program them all, is to be part of this and to associate their racial identity with anti-white and anti-gun and anti-freedom. And I'm just not going to put up with it, okay? And this is a strategic program to break up this country. Now, coming up in 45 minutes, Glenn Spencer joins us, who predicted all of this. We're going to be talking to him about it. If you just joined us, they're moving to break Arizona in two, and I've looked at what the groups are calling for. It's basically a pro-open border. That's what they say they're doing it for. Enclave, and also a taxing base to create a new Mexican-driven racial enclave. The whites are invited to stay now as part of the plan of San Diego if they submit and serve the greater La Infosora. And that's the plan. I mean, folks, the average white person is an arrested development, over the hill. That's not a bad thing. It's just a fact. Aging population who wants to watch football and is so guilt-stricken they bow down and worship anybody that even has a suntan. Okay, in fact, I didn't even this morning want to get on air and say I love Hispanic people. A lot of folks that work with me are. I don't even need to prove myself. I don't care. Okay, all your liberal fundraisers. Where are the Hispanic groups about the push to get Hispanics to abort their babies? See, no. You ignore all that. See, I want you to have your babies. I like life. But see, you want to kill your babies. But that's okay because it's liberal. Murdering the little brown babies is good and liberal. See how this all works. So I've had enough. I've had enough of it. And if you want to play along with this whole plan, fine. The issue is I'm not running. And I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm gonna try to mobilize as many people as I can. They will not teach in Texas schools that over a third of the people that were involved in setting up Texas were Hispanic. They will not talk about the father of the Texas Constitution, who wrote the Constitution, being Hispanic. They will not tell anybody the truth. That's why they put out these movies and demonize the Alamo. I mean, how do you demonize guys fighting, outnumbered 10-1? Well, see, they hate that too. And the truth is, Mexico has a hellish history. But so does every other country out there. America isn't perfect. The point is, we don't want to emulate this and use this as our template and have the culture and the comedians and the rappers and the Tejano people force feed this down your children's throat to the point of, in Texas and California and Arizona and Nevada, there have been multiple news articles per state where the school teachers tell, in many of the cases, Hispanic kids, you do not wear an American flag Old Navy shirt. And they're like, well, this is just a shirt my mom bought me. That's offensive. And in the schools where the illegal aliens are the majority, the American flag is not allowed. They take it down off the post offices everywhere. And you've seen it on video. And these are kids so hateful of the American flag and what it symbolizes, brought up and taught this in the public schools, not in Mexico, that's happening too, but here in the U.S., that they can't even see an American flag. I have had, one time at a steakhouse, a Hispanic waiter asked me what my American flag shirt meant. I had another guy ask me what my 1776 meant. I've had people freak out when I'm wearing the Minuteman, from 1776 Culpeper snake. And I hear the lady talking in English. I go up to the counter to buy coffee and gas, and she starts speaking in Spanish and saying like Infosora stuff. So scared that she's seeing that snake, which is just one of the flags. It's a Marine Corps flag, one of their flags. Has nothing to do with... But she's been taught that flag means shooting pregnant Hispanic women in the stomach. Folks, it's not people wearing Minuteman shirts that are shooting Hispanic women in the stomach. Okay? It's not real. It's not happening. It's not going on. It's your own corrupt, murderous government that's doing that. Again. And the globalists have master planned how to control this country, how to take it down. Now, I've already spent 48 minutes on this, and I haven't even gotten to the other news, and I'm completely blown away by the magnitude of it. I knew it was all coming, but to see it actually rolled out signifies they're getting ready for the stage terror. See, I just tell it like it is. People say, are you liberal or are you conservative? Are you libertarian? What are you? I'm somebody who studies history, studies geopolitical movements, studies sociology, psychology, anthropology, and lives it, and who understands full spectrum dominance and what the globalists are doing. And to see it happening, they're already getting ready to cut the public pension funds. Social Security's had its COLA frozen with the huge inflation that's happening. They're going after public pension funds all over the country. Which you could cut all the banker bailouts and corporate welfare, and people could keep their pensions they've paid into. But they've now sold that is an entitlement you're not entitled to. See how the left is getting robbed by Obama, but they love it. But this is coming here next. Irish bombshell. It's not a bombshell. Government raids private pensions to pay for spending. It's going to happen here. This is done the same in Mexico, in Greece, in Ireland, in Portugal, in Spain, in England. It's always the same banks do it. It's the same crew. And in Ireland, they play Protestant off against Catholic. They just play groups off against each other while the military sits on top of you. Now, folks better figure this out real fast. So I got that. And this isn't even the bombshell news. U.S. trade gap widens more than expected in March. CNBC, it's all by plan. I will be shorting U.S. bonds. Jim Rogers, more and more bets, Tyco and others against the U.S. dollar. Why the Chinese should fear hyperinflation. They've already got it. CNBC. U.S. underwater homeowners increased by 28%. Bloomberg, just in the last month. Forbes predicts U.S. gold standard within 5 years. They're going to kill the dollar, folks. Illinois lawmaker says raising obese kids should cost taxpayers at tax time. Now, that's not even the big bombshell. Cybersecurity bill they couldn't pass the last 4 years has been rolled into the Defense Authorization Act for next year, trying to pass it this month. That dovetails with Google wants to control your home. CNN, how long did I tell you that? And federal spy chips to hijack your phone. Oh, yeah. We're going to break down the master control grid when we get back. Stay with us. All right, I want you to listen to me very carefully because this is the big enchilada. Listen to me very carefully. If you are hearing my voice, you are the resistance. You know about California 5 years ago trying to put in smart meters that control your thermostat in your house. First they said, don't worry, we can control it, but we won't. Now they're going ahead with it, saying they are going to control your thermostat. Texas knew they would get resistance, so they didn't even debate it. They just came and put them in to everybody's houses. They put them in last year on the side of our building out here. Now they're announcing they're going to control it. I saw articles 2 years ago about old people on assistance in different cities being invited into these new communities where their refrigerators tracked, their toilets tracked. It's all hooked into wireless systems for their safety, to monitor them, to make sure they're eating enough, to make sure they're doing well. It's like pre-nursing home. Google is in there, MIT, Defense Department. Everything is going to be tracked and controlled. Now, going back to the Telecommunications Act and similar acts since then, they have standardized washing machines, refrigerators. Everything's coming out. You've got to pay for it in the ticket price under regulations by the government. First, it's at the precedent on light bulbs, toilets, things like that, where all devices have wireless chips. Now, you've heard iPhone 5's coming out. All the new cell phones coming out, not just Apple, will now have the RFID chip embedded. You cannot remove the battery from all the new phones that are coming out. This is all federal regulations, not law. They have tracker chips that GPS triangulate you. All phones, by law, 96, had to be in place October 1st, 2001. We told you months ago. First it was Apple, then Droid with Google, then AT&T phones, then the Microsoft phones. It's all phones. They were ordered to do it, but they're happy to. So globally, it's global standardization from Japan to the U.S., every country with a unified system. We're already under global government. It's done via regulation and corporate agreements. The corporations have set up the world government. So, of course, they follow the orders. They don't buck it. To where all devices track you, all devices track what's in your refrigerator, what you're doing. All laptops watch you that have cameras. All phones watch you. They're now coming out with smartphones that have the camera behind the glass so that you can't cover it up if you're going to see your screen. They admit now OnStar's listening to you, tracking you. Now, if you're doubting me, here are just the headlines today, and I'm getting chills. Google wants to control your home. CNN headline, and it says Google is coming out with interfaces that wire into all new appliances. But wait a minute, why did the government a decade ago or more, depending on which regulation, put in policies where everything coming out was universally compatible for this? See, it's all been pre-planned. Everybody's now saying, oh, Obama just had the plan to have presidential alerts to your phone and break in and take it over, even if you don't want it to. That's the Telecommunications Act of 96. I covered all that in Police State 2000, 1999. How much have I yelled and screamed this year? There's nothing more frustrating than knowing we have a diabolical scientific dictatorship. Here's another example. It'll be 40 years next month in a global secret agreement that all babies at birth have their blood taken and put in a global DNA database to develop race-specific bioweapons is one of the reasons, and a global DNA database so they can frame you.